Welcome to the Anthem Tips and Tricks gameplay series. I'm Arekkz, and in this episode we're going to be going over some of the more advanced aspects of combat and taking a look at what you'll be doing as you approach endgame. By now you should be familiar with your chosen javelin, whether you favour the versatility of the ranger, the speed and agility of the interceptor, the elemental mastery of the storm, or the sheer power and brute force of the colossus. Each javelin has their strengths and their weaknesses, and understanding these is incredibly important when tackling some of the more challenging content Anthem has to offer. While you are ultimately free to play however you like, and there is no wrong way to use your javelin, learning how your moves can complement one another can for sure give you the edge in battle. You may have noticed, whilst playing Anthem, that some combinations of moves, whether that be solo or in a team, result in combos. When used effectively, combos can dish out devastating damage, and are great ways to quickly and reliably take down some of the more challenging enemies that stand in your way. In order to pull off combos, you need to choose your moves wisely. When selecting your abilities, you may have noticed these icons here. This first icon is known as a primer, and the second icon is a detonator. Typically, primers are elemental moves that inflict some sort of status on the enemy, be that fire, ice, electric, or acid. Keep in mind that lower tier enemies are often primed very easily, meanwhile stronger, shielded enemies have higher resistances and thus require more elemental damage before the effect takes hold. Once an enemy is primed and the elemental debuff is applied, they are then ready to combo. Using a detonator ability on a primed enemy will then trigger a combo, and the resulting effect will vary depending on the javelin that you use. If you're playing as a ranger, then upon triggering a combo, you'll dish out large amounts of bonus damage to that single target on top of your ability. For the Colossus, you too will land a large amount of bonus damage, but unlike the Ranger, this time it's spread to the enemies in close proximity, allowing you to spread damage amidst a group. For the Storm, when triggering the combo, you will then spread that elemental debuff to nearby enemies, in turn applying that status to those in close proximity. And then finally, for the Interceptor, upon triggering the combo, you will inherit an aura based on the status applied to the enemy. You'll hear a sound when this happens, and the UI will indicate that you have an aura active on the side of the screen. All whilst this is active, simply standing in close proximity to other enemies will gradually apply this status, so the idea is that you trigger the combo, and you then get up close and personal with the enemy, dealing melee damage while simultaneously applying elemental stacks. Additionally, keep in mind that on top of some of your abilities, for the Interceptor, your double-bladed daggers also act as detonators, so you can melee enemies to trigger combos. It's important to note that when a combo is triggered, the enemies will need to be primed again before they can be comboed again, so only the first player to land the detonator will trigger the combo. Learning to use these, both when playing solo and in a team, will allow you to more effectively tackle the challenges that await you. While you're free to explore the world of Anthem alone, there will come times when teamwork is necessary. Strongholds on the highest difficulty are some of the most challenging content in the game, and in order to successfully come out victorious, you'll need more than just brute force. Effective teamwork is paramount, whether that be communicating to line up devastating combos, covering your teammates to factor in their weaknesses, or using key abilities to create openings. All of this is key to your success. The Colossus' Taunt ability is a great example. Using this to draw aggro, forcing nearby enemies to focus on you, in turn allowing your team to flank and focus on attacking the weak points. If an Interceptor is diving headlong into battle, hoping to exploit an opening with their double-bladed daggers, then a Storm could preemptively prime a group of enemies with an AoE ability, allowing for a powerful combo. Planning out your encounters to play to your team's strengths and weaknesses is one of the key pillars of advanced play. Throughout the game, you'll be exposed to a whole manner of different activities, beyond just the main campaign, but when you hit level 30 and approach endgame, strongholds and legendary contracts will be where you focus your attention. Strongholds are where the real challenges lie. Work through swarms of enemies and take on an epic boss in order to snag that sweet loot. Additionally, hitting max level will unlock the remaining difficulties, Grandmaster 1, 2, and 3. With these at your fingertips, you can dive back into the activities you've become familiar with and tackle them with a whole new challenge. Higher difficulties offer better chances at rarer gear, so if you're truly chasing that power, then this is where your focus will be. When you reach Anthem's endgame, you'll begin searching for those perfect gear pieces, and working hard to build loadouts that not only boost your power level, but also selecting gear pieces with bonuses that complement one another. Loot in Anthem comes in 6 rarities: Common, Uncommon, Rare, Epic, Masterwork, and Legendary, with each tier offering greater power and potential. Rarer gear comes with inscriptions. These are randomly rolled and offer stat boosts and bonuses that can further enhance your build. The rarer the gear, the more inscriptions a piece will have, up to a maximum of 4. Masterworks and legendary items also benefit from the chance of added ability bonuses that show up as orange text in the description. Searching for that perfect piece that synergizes with the build you've spent time perfecting is ultimately what will send you back out into the world in search of more loot. Of course, there's no such thing as one build to rule them all. After all, Anthem is a game of choice, so when you've settled on one build, it's time to think of another way to play. Remember, you can save your gear loadouts at the forge, meaning you can swap to your favourite loadout at a moment's notice, but more importantly, you can also use this to build loadouts for select situations. Is your team in search of some support, someone who can control enemies and create combo openings? Save that. Maybe you're diving into an activity and know that the enemies are especially weak to fire, then load up that fire build. Or maybe your team need a tank, then pull out a defensive build. Save your loadouts and experiment with your abilities to find new and exciting ways to play. Then finally, let's say you found a weapon or a gear piece that you really like, but the inscriptions aren't quite what you're hoping for. What do? Go back out into the world and hope that the item drops for you? I mean, sure, you could do that, or you could then turn to crafting. As you explore the world, you'll see nodes that can be harvested. These yield crafting materials. If you obtain weapons or gear pieces that you don't want, these can be dismantled into crafting materials, and even when you open chests or loot other items in the world, those too can yield more materials. All these items will be incredibly important in Anthem's endgame. Crafting allows you to create an item of your choosing, and each time the item is crafted, the inscriptions are randomly rolled. You'll unlock new crafting recipes as you progress through the game and complete challenges. You can track these challenges in the menu, so if there's something you're really chasing, you can focus your efforts on that particular item. You'll unlock rarer blueprints too, so if you find an item that you particularly like early on in the game, then be sure to complete the associated challenges as you go to unlock higher rarity versions so that when you reach end game, you can start crafting your chosen items in search of that perfect roll. That, freelancers, is it for this video. Now you have an understanding of some of the more advanced aspects of Anthem. All that's left now is for you to head out into the world and explore.